The superannuation guarantee backflip. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from from news.com.au discussing the superannuation guarantee. And let's just look at the way this is framed. I mean, yeah. Superannuation, the PM's broken promise could cost couples $200,000, guys. $200,000. That evil Prime Minister. He's going, on his flights over to Hawaii. Relaxing on holiday, costing you $200,000. Listen to your betters. Do as you're told, pleb. Get get other people to take care of your money for you. You're too dumb to manage your money. Too dumb to not hit a microphone. You're too dumb to manage your money. You need other people to manage it for you. Scott Morrison has dropped his biggest hint yet that he is considering an about-face that could cost young Aussie couples up to $200,000. See, here's the thing. This superannuation money, it's not some magic fairy dust money that comes out of nowhere. It's part of the cost or burden of employing someone. So it'll come out of their wage, one way or another. Would you rather have that money in your hands? Or would you rather have it in the union-controlled super funds or the bank-controlled super funds' hands? Who do you want to have control of your money? Who do you want to have? Because both those groups think you're too stupid to manage it yourself. Scott Morrison has dropped his biggest hint that he's considering dumping the super increase in a move that Labor warns will cost young couples up to $200,000. So when did Labor transform into being on the sides of the banks, being on the sides of the union? Well, it was always the unions, wasn't it? But when did they think people were too stupid to manage their own money? Has it always been the way? Are the proletariat always too dumb? I guess that they want to keep you poor. They want to keep you poor, contained, because what they'll do is they'll just bring in a death tax so then you don't get it, the other end of it. I bet you that's the end game plan. The Prime Minister confirmed today that he was considering delaying the legislated increase to workers' superannuation from 9.5% to 12% to protect jobs. Yes, that's what it's going to cost jobs. It's going to cost jobs. It'll increase unemployment, everyone. It will have an impact on jobs. Don't kid yourself to think it doesn't. And this is your money. It's going to come. It'll reduce people's wages. Look at our wage growth here. Oh, it's not coming up. Our wage growth is just terrible. It's been terrible for quite some time. The RBA has predicted its growth just since 2011. They've kept getting it wrong again and again and again. And they're the masters of our economy. But this is going to put a strain on businesses, on small businesses. Right now, we already have all lockdowns affecting our entire economy. We've got the government strangling the middle class, stopping them from working, destroying businesses left, right, and centre. This is not going to help. This will not help. And the fact that Labor are just trying to score political points and don't see the bigger picture shows that they're just interested in politics. And Liberal are no different, guys. The two big ones are exactly the same. It's just like a mirror. So he stressed that he hoped it would not be necessary. We'll see. Mr. Morrison said he would make a final decision on the basis of what was the best decision to protect workers' employment in the pandemic economy. See, here's the thing. Why are we in a situation? Why are we in a political situation where he's the one making this decision on businesses remunerating their staff? Shouldn't people be able to negotiate this? Shouldn't they be able to have a grown-up adult conversation with their employer going, I'd like this much of my wages paid into the superannuation? Should we even have it? Should people have the choice to opt out? But then, Florian, these people will still, be using the pension, yada, yada, yada. They're still going to anyway, guys. How many of them are going to, the smart ones will have savings one way or another. Maybe that's what the focus should be on. And then reducing our taxation throughout our entire life. Rather than creating this system here where there's incentives or tax incentives to go into super. Or here's another one. Keep the tax incentives. Don't make it mandatory. And then force the super companies to actually fight to get money. They have to fight. They have to create incentives. They have to compete. Make it a market. You think there's a political will on either side of the aisle for that one? I will do and the government will do what is in the best interests of people getting jobs and staying in jobs, he said on Friday. You've got to look at the situation as you find it. The situation today is different to what it was previously. That doesn't necessarily mean you go down the path, but you have to deal with the situation you find yourself in. Now, as we would like to be in. Yeah, well, it's political talk. If it is scrapped, it would represent dumping a legislated 2.5% pay increase for every worker in Australia and would require legislation to take the money away from workers' nest eggs. It's not a pay increase. It's not a pay increase. It's a 2.5% increase to the super contribution. So if you've got an entire package, that means you would just shift a portion of the package. So this is your whole package here. That portion is super. That portion isn't. It's the bit that isn't super is going to get shrunk and it'll get put into super. Sure, it'll only be the people on minimum wage that may get a pay increase that they won't notice. But maybe they'll have hours reduced so that it consumes it then. There'll be ways. There'll be ways because businesses need to save money. We're in a recession. We are in a recession, the first one in 38 years. We can't afford mandated pay rises. And people need to have their own money. They need to have control over their money. Not the banks. Not the union super funds. I mean, that's a crazy idea, Florian, letting people have control of their own bloody money. This is Australia, the Socialist Republic of Victoria, are leading us to a bold new future of dependency on the state and authoritarian control. But Labor has warned the impact on retirement income over a lifetime could be as much as $200,000 for a young couple in their 30s today. Or it could be the complete opposite. What if they take that money and they invest it in something smart outside of super and get a better deal? What if it helps them get into a home quicker? And then property always goes up, doesn't it, apparently? Judging by what people are telling you. I mean, let's have a look here. Hang on, I'll bring up here. Property prices. Or maybe, if property corrects, it may make it easier for people to get into homes. This is the thing, if all these previous generations, they didn't have a big chunk of their money forcefully taken away from them and stuck out of their control, did they? Last month, news.com.au exclusively revealed a Treasury report will warn that Australian workers face years of lower wage growth if the legislated increase to superannuation in the post-COVID economy proceeds. We're gonna have it anyway. I'd say even without this mandated super increase, even without that, we're going to have low wage growth. We may even have wages decline in real terms. At least the purchasing power of your wages is going to decline. The superannuation guarantee is set to increase to 10% in July 2021 before rising to 12% in 2025. According to the confidential 650-page report, there's a trade-off between super increases and wage increases, and workers would face years of even lower wages if it goes ahead. I'm aware of the commentary by everybody from the Reserve Bank governor, who said continuing those arrangements will be bad for employment, the Prime Minister said today. And it is the circumstances that have occurred since the election which have made that the case. Mr. Morrison also referenced his pre-election pledge that he would not dump the super guarantee. Well, you're going to have to make some changes. Prior to the election, it was certainly my view, and I articulated that those were legislated changes, increases, and we have no plans to change any of those, and that was certainly our view, he said. The pandemic has occurred and the people's jobs are at risk. Well, no, the people's jobs are at risk because the government has responded with insane economic lockdowns to mitigate an illness with a mortality rate that is not significant. Seriously, look at the numbers, guys. Over 2,500 people recovered yesterday here in Australia. Why didn't that make the headlines? I haven't looked at today's figures. I'll do that at my night video so we can see if there actually has been a recovery or if it's been reported on. So this doesn't come into effect until July of next year, so I don't think there's any undue haste that is needed here to consider these issues. I would certainly hope, and I'm being an optimist, that by May of next year we will look at things different. No, we're not. Qantas isn't even predicting international flights until July next year. Yeah. Labour's superannuation spokesman, Stephen Jones, said it was now clear the Prime Minister did not intend to keep his word. It's clear he intends to break his promise. Yeah, well, mate, you're in the unions control huge portions of the super. You know, and how much of that profits from those funds goes funneling through to the unions and then goes to the Labour Party. I mean, it's yeah. It'd be nice if individuals were trusted in this country to control their money. It really would. I know the intention of it. I know the benefit of it. But you know what? Why don't we just look at other ways to do it? What about if we decrease the superannuation guarantee down to 5%? Or people could withdraw up to a certain amount every year for certain purchases. Why not? Withdraw it for education. Withdraw it for healthcare. Withdraw it for home purchases. Withdraw it for consumer purchases. Withdraw it for paying off debt. It's your money. Why not? Because they think you're too dumb. Or really, they want to control it. That's what it is. It's the banks and the unions controlling it. It's a big, big honeypot, guys, and they want to, scoop their bit off the top every time. They're using COVID as cover. They've been planning this since they started the retirement income review. Mr. Jones said it was no accident that there'd been a steady stream of Liberal MPs calling for a super increase to be scrapped or frozen. Yes, because, here's the thing, because they probably have friends and colleagues and they are contacted by people in business that create jobs. Unions don't create jobs, okay? They do not. They cause, well, they are a cartel. They cause reduced quality of employment conditions for those outside of the cartel. That's the harsh reality. A majority of them are middle-aged women now. That's the largest demographic in the unions. So, anyway. All the bank benches have been out on licensed revolt. Well, it's because it's going to cost businesses money. You're essentially forced to give people additional pay rises, and either you're gonna hurt the staff, or what you'll do is you'll pay them now and then you won't give them a pay rise for a few years. It's going to affect cash flow. Or it'll just drive business offshore. It'll drive employment offshore, out of this country. You can get someone in the Philippines to work remotely, same skills, same education, same English level, for a fraction of the cost. And all of this is managed and included. Why wouldn't you? Now, all jobs work from home. It's remote. You've got to compete at a different level, guys. You've got to compete at a global level. It will cost a 30-year-old a massive 150 grand to 200. I mean, who cares? What's the money going to be worth in that time? If it's stuck in the super fund, particularly controlled by the bonds or by the unions or the banks, you've got very limited investment options. What's the 150? What's the purchasing power going to be? Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions, guys. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's pretty obvious that I would advocate for more money in the individual's hands. And frankly, I think it'll increase the incentives to offshore work and reduce employment here in Australia. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.